see the field goal percentage. Butler has really struggled, and their two top three-point guys, Clark and Dunham, yet to get going.
Yep, and 12 to 2 points off turnovers, as we talked about.
A lot of people asking before this game, just how good is this Butler team trying to get back into the NCAA tournament? You know, is Indiana worthy of being a #1? They certainly proved it with the big win over Carolina a couple of weeks back. Hoosiers at 9-0, Butler 7-2 coming in. Clark around the screen.
Pretty good look for him there, Spiro.
Now 2 of 6 on the day. Ferrell's pass right at the foot of Wofford, and Indiana turns it over.
Well, so far, Indiana concentrating so much on negating Clark and Dunham, and they've done a pretty good job. You see only 7 attempts between the two, actually 8 now. And Indiana taking care of that aspect of things, but you also saw 14 of the 34 points for Butler, second chance points. So that's an area that I'm sure was addressed by Indiana in the locker room to clean up the defensive board.
We watched both teams, and certainly much of Tom Crean's practice was built around slowing those two players. Rodney Clark, the man with the basketball, and the freshman Kellen Dunham, who right now is on the Butler bench.
Actually, Dunham has not started. This is his 3rd straight game coming off the bench, and the prior 2 he went for 28 points combined, so seems to be pretty comfortable coming off the bench. And Roosevelt Jones is comfortable down on that low box, using that ample frame of his to carve out space.
So a 2-point game here. 18:45 to play, early stages of the second half. These two teams just an hour's drive apart, yet separated by so much in terms of tradition and history. Doing battle today. Ferrell blocked inside by Jones. Southpaw runs the open floor. Would have given Butler the lead. Now Ferrell in the open floor. Reach and foul charged to Alex Barlow.
Second chance points have allowed Butler to stay close despite the points off turnover discrepancy. That's Roosevelt Jones doing work. The last live bucket by Butler was from Kyle Marshall. But second shot opportunities from in on the act there as well. But this Butler team, again, we've talked about it in the first half, is a physical team. So they put their body on you all the time, defensively, boxing out, and even trying to get to the offensive glass as Oladipo is able to get into the paint and draw the foul there.
Oladipo, Indiana's high man in the first half, 10 points. Whistle against Roosevelt Jones. That's a big one for Brad Stevens, a 3rd personal on him, as Oladipo will shoot. Oladipo, the junior, played his high school basketball at that legendary program, DeMatha. Misses on the first. Monday spent the holidays with 2 broke girls. Which one is naughty and which one is nice? Find out on a new 2 Broke Girls, Monday, only CBS. Oladipo makes it a 3-point game.
Indiana enjoying an advantage at the free throw line. No surprise there, Spiro. They come in having made 95 more free throws on 113 more attempts. Again, because they share the ball and they've got multiple weapons, and they're always looking to put you in a position to foul by driving the ball to the goal.
Well, the Indiana defense blanketing Butler on that possession. Zeller fouled by Smith, and that's the 3rd now on Butler's starting center.
That's a big one. He's already been Dairy Queened 3 times in 9 games coming into today's action. And as a result, he only averages 22 minutes of playing time.
So 2 of Butler's starters up front playing with 3. Smith defending Zeller about as well as he could have with the fouls. And then Wofford fouled on a putback attempt. He'll shoot. Wofford very quiet so far, just 1 of 2 on the day, 2 points in 11 minutes and change.
I love the fact Indiana went right inside to Zeller after Smith picked up that 3rd foul. And as a result, they got an inside shot attempt, and then the board was loose or free. And Watford, a 92% free thrower at the line.
Clark, give us the blog on Watford.
Well, I love the fact that he's a big guy that can shoot the ball. He's an excellent three-point shooter, so he's a floor spacer. He's doing a better job, actually having a career-high year in rebounding, and he's a matchup migraine. Because of his ability to space the floor, his size, pretty good athlete as well. Opposing teams really wrestle with how to defend Christian Watford.
Watford now the senior out of Birmingham, Alabama, the preseason Wooden Award list for him. Guy whose star was born last December the 10th.
Forever.
In Bloomington. A shot to defeat Kentucky, the #1 team in the country. Oladipo continues to do it to the Bulldogs today. 10th Butler turnover. And Indiana's lead now at 7.
Who's you? Is Tim Garl. And efficient and excellent at what he does.
How many incredible players has he worked with over the years? Also a trainer on the 1984 U.S. Olympic basketball team.
First team foul there committed by Yogi Ferrell on Indiana. Butler has already committed 4 team fouls, and that's something to keep an eye on. Indiana's going to continue to attack, to apply excellent pressure defensively, and to make it tough offensively for Butler. And then when the Hoosiers have the ball, they're going to throw it inside or try to drive it and really put pressure on Butler to defend without fouling. There's so many things you have to be able to negate when you play a team as potent as Indiana. Keep them out of transition. Don't give them second shots. Don't turn it over. Don't send them to the free throw line. That's why they're the #1 team in the country, because they can beat you a lot of different ways.
Jones has had a big day picking up the scoring slack for Rodney Clark, who's got only 6. Jones today 10 and 9 boards, not to mention 5 dimes.
Yeah, he leads the team in assists at about 4 games, Spiro, and does it with craftiness. That looks like an offensive foul, and it was on Oladipo.
Set up by the freshman Kellen Dunham, second on Oladipo.
Nice job anticipating that Oladipo wants to go hard to the right hand. I think it was the lowering of the shoulder just a bit that earned Oladipo that foul.
So just when you thought that Butler was going down, they seized the momentum back. Forever the little engine that could as Jones misses a little turnaround bunny.
I like the fact they attacked Jordan Halls, though, the last 2 possessions, trying to defend Jones.
Open look for Ferrell. Offensive rebound by Zeller. Zeller wants to take from, and a blocking foul called. Andrew Smith on the Butler bench with 3 personals. And Zeller's eyes lighten up with Fromm in front of him.
Well, it's one thing to have your eyes light up, but you need the ball skills to be able to make it pay, and he's got those. Showed you a nice little crossover dribble that time, and Andrew Smith with 3 fouls. Going to continue to sit and be a matter of how long can Brad Stevens afford to have him on the sideline.
Oladipo slithering past Jones. Roosevelt Jones, by the way, still playing here with 3 fouls. There's another blocking foul charge to Butler. We'll get a timeout. Foul trouble as well.
And again, that'll be something to keep an eye on the rest of the way. Butler with 16 fouls already. Indiana only has a couple.
Kyle Marshall the steal on the inbounds play. Butler, despite all that, is only down 5 points with 15 and change remaining.
You know, Butler's they're one of those teams that you just have to put away because they won't go away. They'll just keep fighting and running their stuff and finding a way to stay close.
Shot clock down to 3. Jones spinning down the court and finishes point blank. That's the kind of day it's been for Jones. He's got a dozen.
Oh, that is so fun to watch.
Oladipo bangs the 3.
So is that. This kid is some kind of player. I tell you, when you think about where he was as a freshman, you saw the athleticism, you saw the potential, that he has really done the work. They like to say there's no grub if there's no grind. In other words, there's no eating if there's no work. And Victor Oladipo is eating because he's done the work.
Crean says he's the hardest working player in this Hoosiers program. He's lived at the Cook Center, the 24/7 facility that they built for players. They've got to kick him out of there sometimes. He works so hard and so long. As Jones continues to do it for Brad Stevens, it's a 4-point game. Jones now 14 points, 10 boards for his first double-double of the year. And that time he blocked Sheehy inside.
Well, he just muscled him. Used his lower body to ride him into a tougher shot. And then came up with the rebound. Jones doing it all.
Marshall on a turnaround. Zeller bothered the shot. Fromm gets his hands dirty. And a reaching foul on the Hoosiers, Sheehy. So Sheehy whistled for his second. Crean will make some changes. Abel and Hulls back in. Also the big fella making his Hoosiers debut today, Mosquera Perea. Back from his 9-game suspension. Clark on a corner three. It's a 1-point game. Three run for Butler. There's Mosquera Perea for his first bucket as a Hoosier.
How about going down and fighting for that pumpkin in the paint? Andrew Smith at the scorer's table, Spiro, about to check in for Butler with the 3 fouls.
The freshman born in Columbia. Here comes Clark, baseline, going glass. Clark coming alive. He's in double figures with 11 in a 1-point game. Sheehy. The senior Hulls changed his mind. Wofford. And a foul underneath if it's on Jones. That's his 4th.
And that is large. Is there a different team when he's not able to be out there facilitating, defending, posting up? And that is his 4th foul. And it'll be the 1-and-1 for Indiana.
Andrew Smith set the check-in at the table. Smith with 3 personals of his own.
Jones is going to stay on the floor. Major roll of the dice here. Oh, there he is. Okay. All right, here's the goal. I was going to say that would be a bit risky.
Well, Stevens a gambler, but not willing to do it so early here. Still 12 and change remaining.
Yeah.
But how about Butler? Despite the early struggles, not much from Rodney Clark, their leading scorer in the first half. They're right there, only down 2 points.
And Spiro, that's mindset. That's collective mindset to fight through the adversity you encounter within a game. And it comes in various ways at different times. But the really good teams, the teams that have a winning culture and winning history, have the kind of players that understand it's a full 40-minute journey. And you've got to be able to handle the ebbs and flows within that journey.
Clark blocked inside, shadowed to the cup by Oladipo. As we take another look.
Right at you, folks. Clark, more than a 3-point shooter. He's small in size, but he's big in heart and game because he can shoot the 3, and he's always on the lookout for opportunities to drive, too.
Bad pass by Fromm, a bit low. Stegall couldn't corral it. And a tough turnover committed by Butler. So Indiana here playing with Sheehy, Hulls, Remy Abel, Mosquera Perea, and Victor Oladipo.
Tough matchup here for Fromm. Thought Abel might try to take him off the dribble there.
Hulls knocks it in. And Indiana giving itself some breathing room here. Up 5. Ball switching from the point to the off-guard position to accommodate the arrival of the highly decorated freshman Yogi Ferrell. Hitting a big shot for Tom Green. Smith had it. And a foul charge to Indiana. Well, these two programs battling on the national stage in a 5-point game.
Controlling the pace, really.
So 51-46 our score. And for Butler, the story has been Roosevelt Jones keeping the Bulldogs within striking distance.
Yeah, he's been absolutely stupendous. Roosevelt Jones doing it all, stuffing the stat sheet. He's got 14 points, 11 boards, 6 assists, 2 blocks. He's played 26 minutes, and he'll sit for a while because he does have the 4 personal fouls.
Butler was down 4 points at halftime. Smith on a turnaround, misses everything. Offensive rebound by Fromm. Finding the space, and a freshman cuts the Indiana lead to 3.
Boy, I love the poise there. Didn't rush anything. Dunham loves to shoot going to his left.
Sheehy has hit some huge shots. I told you he came in with a hot hand, 16 points over his previous 4, shooting better than 65%. Stigall, nice find to Fromm, who's fouled on the block. It's on Sheehy. Tomorrow at Survivor, 4 castaways remain, and after 2 tribal councils and 2 incredible hours, only 1 will be the sole survivor. Don't miss the season finale and live reunion show tomorrow, only CBS. And who will survive here in Indy? Indiana, the top-ranked team in the country, trying to stay perfect. Butler trying to pull the upset. Fromm goes right through the Hoosiers' defense. 10 points for the junior from Bloomington, right in the Hoosiers' backyard, with 10:39 remaining. Shot clock at 13. Hall's trying to find Zeller, and Smith is whistled for his 4th.
Man, that's a tough one there. They've been so physical all game long, and I think the officials have done a nice job of allowing these guys to play in a physical manner. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, he grabbed him. Can't grab him. Got his arms around him. That's why he picked up his 4th foul. Had he just been using his lower body, it would have been a play on, but he grabbed him around the side, and that one has to be called.
The Brad Stevens club, very small to begin with. They are ultra small now. And Zeller misses the front end of the 1-and-1. He's struggled all season at the line. And today just 2 of 6.
And Indiana has missed more free throws than Butler has even attempted.
Clark gets into the paint as Zeller clears.
Opportunity in the open court. Numbers advantage.
Abel may have gotten away with a double dribble. Zeller takes a shove in the back.
That's why you push the ball ahead, Spiro, and that's why you try to take a quick, high-quality shot. Doesn't have to be a layup, but when you've got a numbers advantage, you get the ball up on the rim so you can attack the offensive glass if the shot is missed. Another foul on Butler, and that's the 4th on Eric Fromm. And this is going to be the issue going the rest of the way here. Although Butler has closed the gap in regards to the foul disparity, Indiana now has 5 team fouls. Butler is on the verge of putting Indiana in the double bonus, if 9 team fouls already. And I mentioned it earlier, Indiana, a good free throw shooting team at 75%, and they will attack the paint and get themselves to the foul line.
Lucky to Oladipo walking a tightrope on the steal, but now they say backcourt violation.
And Jordan Hole straddled the line on the catch. Excellent pressure by Oladipo. That length and athleticism, able to allow him to come up with it.
He's Spider-Man.
Yeah. And you saw Jordan Hole's foot was on the half-court line as he caught it.
Well, this is the same issue that so many teams facing Indiana will have to deal with this year. They just wear you down.
Yeah. They got a whole bunch of trump cards is what they've got.
Running able to steal.
And they know how to play it.
Alex Barlow takes it back. 8 turnovers by Indiana, 13 by the Bulldogs. With 9:29 remaining, Barlow dials the 3. So Butler down 6 as we come up on 9 minutes to play.
This is where if you're Indiana, you want to make sure you get something going to the paint. Or at least you probe the paint to create an opportunity either to get fouled or get a wide open shot somewhere.
Wofford over Marshall. And a foul charged here to Butler. Well, here's the foul issues that Brad Stevens is dealing with now. Smith and Jones both on the bench. Also Fromm, who's hit some big buckets today.
Yes, he has.
But he's not going to wait any longer. Smith and Jones will come back.
Well, you really can't afford to wait any longer. I mean, it's 9 minutes left and things are slipping away a little bit if you're Butler. You can feel it. Indiana able to attack. Butler struggling to score. Well, you've got to go with your best players despite the fouls, I think. So,
as you saw, Indiana in a double bonus now, shooting 2 from here on out. But they have left a lot of points at the free throw line today.
Yeah,
it's 14 of 22.
And again, they come in having made 75% of their free throw attempts.
Wofford, a 92% free throw shooter, makes it a 7-point game.
Better job that time by Kyle Marshall to provide a release against the defensive pressure. The last time nobody helped out and Oladipo came up with the steal.
Jones, dangerous pass taken by Marshall. The junior going glass and he'll shoot 2. And the Butler fans with a bit of a sarcastic cheer as a foul call goes in their favor.
Well, the next Indiana foul puts Butler in the bonus.
So the left-handed Marshall clangs the first. Clark, give us the blog on Kyle Marshall.
Well, I love the fact that he's a glass eater. He excels really in transition in the open court. And he rolls bigger than advertised. In other words, he plays bigger than he's advertised. About 6'7", 6'6.5", 6'7", but doesn't mind going inside and getting it done against players that are much taller.
Marshall, a member of that 2011 national runner-up team. That came up just short.
They had a terrific tournament.
There's a turnaround by Wofford. And a rebound by Barlow. When you look up, it's a 6-point game. Here's Clark on a straightaway 3. And they cut the deficit in half.
That is just hard to defend. A guy pulling up under pressure from about 28 feet. I mean, that is just hard to defend. Here's Clark, gets a little brush screen, and there he is, 3 feet behind the line. Mark it up. Oladipo gets hung up. Halls comes late. And you talk about a guy with zip code range and the competitive spirit to go with it. That's a lethal combination in a tight game.
I wonder if Clark's ever lost the game a horse with the distance that he's got on that stroke.
Well, you know what? He scored 3,700 points in high school, which is the Oklahoma State record.
All-time leading high school score in the history of Oklahoma basketball.
3,700. I had a pretty good high school career, okay? I think I scored like 1,600.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers just numb the senses.
It's mind-boggling, man. Absolutely mind-boggling.
To hear people tell his story, you know, it's become really a folk legend.
Yeah.
From rural Oklahoma. 3 years at Arkansas before transferring as Marshall sticks it back. And here comes Butler.
That's what Kyle Marshall can do, but it's created because of the ability of Clark to knock down the three-point shot, and then you've got Dunham out there to space the floor as well.
Well, that's a foul that Butler just didn't need. Barlow reaching in from the back. But Rodney Clark, the sharpshooter from Oklahoma, on a deep three to pull his Bulldogs within threes.
So far in the 9, where the scores haven't been in the 80s or more. This game is tracking perhaps towards the maybe low 70s.
Sheehy misfires on the first tonight. CBS News reports on Newtown, Connecticut in a special 48 hours at 10/9 Central on CBS. And of course, our thoughts and prayers on that entire community. Just the unbelievable stories coming out of that small town in the Northeast.
Tragically inexplicable.
So Jones back in, trying to lob it to Marshall. Smith is there to put it back. And this the closest Butler has been since the 18:55 mark of the second half.
Boy, that was a big-time rebound by Smith because he basically just root canaled Cody Zeller out of the way.
Zeller swallowed up by Smith. And Indiana will have 19 to shoot.
Take a look at this shot attempt by Marshall, but look at the rebound as Andrew Smith just basically moves Zeller out of the way to get to that ball.
And keep in mind, Smith and Jones both playing with 4 fouls.
And Jones matched up with Zeller right now. If that's the case, you got to try to throw it inside to him if you're Indiana.
Butler pushing their chips to the center of the table right here. Oladipo drawing contact, and they say traveling violation.
Another example of the physicality. Body, good movement, and a travel.
Butler has not led since the 9:09 mark of the first half. Zeller the interception off the feed from Jones.
That's a case where you have to see more than the guy you want to pass to and his defender.
Wofford can't hit. And Butler another chance to retake the lead. We hit the 6-minute mark here in Indy. Jones bottled up by Wofford. Dunham. Butler retakes the lead. Kellen Dunham, the freshman from Pendleton, Indiana, with the biggest shot of his brief collegiate career. Timeout.
How do you respond? Maintain your poise, attack, execute, and come up with a shot make.
Hoosiers have not hit a bucket in nearly 6 minutes, and the call here against Indiana. It's on Ferrell. And you see there, #1 ranked teams, 12 of the last 14 losses have been to an unranked opponent. And shaky moments now for Tom Crean's Hoosiers.
No doubt about it. Well, this Butler team should be ranked. I mean, there are only 25 spots, so a number of good teams don't make the ranking, but this Bulldogs team is clearly a team worthy of being ranked.
Well, they'll be ranked if they win this game.
They should be ranked even if they don't win it.
Andrew Smith right down Broadway, and Butler with a 4-point lead.
This is where Indiana has to be really tight in its execution.
Sheehy Knocked out of bounds, and it belongs to Butler.
Here's Andrew Smith right here. Nobody in the paint, and he's just going right down the lane. It was a sloppy closeout by Zeller. And as a result, Smith had an easy trip down the middle of the lane.
Well, as we told you earlier, Tom Crean telling us yesterday that Butler, the most physical team, the toughest team that Indiana faced last year. And they are extending his Hoosiers again here today. Stegall, the senior, and Butler by 7. Zeller underneath, and he'll shoot free throws, but it has been an adventure for him today at the stripe as Butler has reeled off 12 straight points.
2 guys go with the ball, and that leaves Stegall wide open to spray it from deep. And here you get another look at it. 2 guys with Stegall wide open. And that's just clearly a breakdown defensively. But that can happen when you start to feel the pressure that an opponent can put on you when they have the kind of run that Butler has put together here in the last couple of minutes.
Big free throws for Cody Zeller. Still only a sophomore. The Indiana native who won 3 state high school titles in this building. But his team in some trouble now, down 5 as we come up on 4 minutes left.
This is really where Indiana has to be tight and poised defensively. And Clark is very dangerous with the floor spread and a team a little desperate defensively. Can't have any slippage or breakdowns if you're Indiana.
Clark 8 of his 14 in the second half, going glass. Offensive rebound, Smith. And a foul charge to Indiana. Alex Smith, a 64% free thrower, heading to the line when we come back as Brad Stevens' Bulldogs trying to pull the
those points. It started with Dunham knocking down the 3. Andrew Smith on a nice drive with the lane wide open. Miscommunication defensively, and a breakdown by Indiana leads to Stegall's wide open 3. And Butler in a real good position right now as Andrew Smith goes to the free throw line. Plenty of time left for Indiana. Only a 2-possession game right now. Smith has a chance to add to it and make it a 3-possession game. But Smith only a 64% free thrower on the year. That looked like a pure stroke right there.
Now, Cody Zeller, Clark, the consensus national preseason player of the year, but he's only a sophomore.
Yep.
Smith has kind of pushed him around.
He has. He really has the last few possessions. A couple of offensive rebounds, and he's basically just had the lower body leverage to get where he wanted to and get Cody Zeller out of the way.
What a play by Remy Abel. The Hoosiers on the ropes, and here comes Abel now, the sophomore out of Louisville, Kentucky. He'll shoot a free throw.
It appeared as though Barlow couldn't tell from up top if he was inside of the restricted area. Looked like he may have been. Nonetheless, it appeared as though he slid into the driving Abel and wasn't in legal guarding position there.
First field goal for the Hoosiers since the 11-17 mark of the second half, nearly 8 minutes.
And yet with this free throw, it could be a 1-possession game.
Abel, just 16 free throws on the season. He's hit 14 of them. Three-point game.
Now, which team can defend without fouling? Good pressure here by Indiana. And they'll back off. Well, actually, Butler trusts Roosevelt Jones to be the facilitator. Paul's really trying to hound him.
Jones a double-double for the first time in his career, 14 and 12. Here comes Dunham. Offensive foul, and Indiana gets it back.
Brad Stevens doesn't like it because his team just had this same call go against it, but that was better defensive position there by Oladipo. He was clearly set Dunham moved, actually left his feet, and had nowhere to go.
Both teams with 3 timeouts left. Butler clinging to the 3-point lead. This is Abel. Oladipo, the lightning quick spin that couldn't finish.
Well, they had that lane wide open there, Spiro, to create that type of driving angle, and Oladipo did everything but finish there.
Jones tripped up to the floor by Wofford. As the Hoosier fans are sweating here in Indy. 4th personal on Christian Wofford, and a 1-and-1 now for Jones.
Jones not the best of free throwers. Only 40% as you see there, but he has done a little better than that today. But his game has been outstanding. He has been terrific. 14 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists for Roosevelt Jones.
Jones, the Illinois native, with 2 of the biggest free throws of his Butler career. Only a sophomore, started 31 of 36 games a year ago, and he's given the Bulldogs a 5-point lead with under 3 minutes remaining. Oladipo has his pocket picked by Barlow. 11 Indiana turnovers. A basketball Baltimore and Indy timeout.
The floor, they've got multiple ball handlers. Dunham not on the floor, so they've really got just one deadly 3-point shooter out there, and he's got the ball now, Rodney Clark.
Standing room only here. Record-setting crowd in this building. This is Jones, backpedaling, finding Smith. 7-point game.
Jones just makes plays. He had no shot, but still had the presence of mind to find an open teammate.
Kick ball against Jones.
Look at the determination on that kid's face. And he's played with 4 fouls, as has Smith, for about the last 4 or 5 minutes, if not more, as Christian Watford re-enters.
Well, Jones joined this team last year, wasn't around for that memorable 2-year run to back-to-back national title games, but he is thrusting himself now into the national consciousness with this performance, and certainly on this stage. Butler 2 minutes and change away.
Indiana just a little too tentative so far.
Zeller like a ping ball knocked around down the lane. And he'll step back to the line here. 2:03 to play in a 7-point game.
This is where you need Cody Zeller to be able to cash in from the line, and then if you can get a stop, get it done inside.
Zeller, as you saw now, 7 of 11 at the free throw line. Entered the day at 65% at the stripe. Will Sheehy will come in. Zeller sits.
They're going to try to apply more full court pressure here and match up. Actually, Remy Abel going to come in for Watford, so Indiana going very small here. But somebody better make sure they're matched up with Andrew Smith, the biggest guy on the floor.
You see the timeout picture on the bottom of your screen. Indiana 3, Butler with 2. Both teams in a double bonus as we hit the 2-minute mark remaining. Marshall had it stolen inside, and here comes Oladipo.
They've got numbers too, Spiro. 5 on 4.
16th Butler turnover. Sheehy going baseline, and he'll shoot free throws.
And Andrew Smith has just been Dairy Queen. Big loss here. Plenty of time left. especially if Sheehy can knock down a pair of free throws, which will allow Indiana to get back into this full court pressure.
Smith with a dozen points. Some big contributions in the second half, certainly down the stretch. 9 rebounds as well in 24 minutes. And now can Butler hang on without Jones and Smith? Butler in their history, 0-3, as we told you earlier, against top-ranked teams in the country. They are right on the doorstep here.
Well, you lose the playmaking and strength of Roosevelt Jones, the experience and size of Smith. That Indiana pressure looked pretty good on that last possession. And they'll go right back to it. You see the lineup out there: Abel, Halls, Sheehy, Farrell, and Oladipo. So they'll try to trap everywhere. You don't have to worry about a big size advantage with Andrew Smith out of the game.
It's a one-possession game with a .40 left. Marshall handling, now Barlow. A former walk-on, 15 to shoot. Butler with 2 timeouts. Barlow, dangerous pass to Fromm. Able to rebound, and he is fouled by Dunham.
Boy, Butler did a nice job against extreme pressure to get a good shot that just didn't go down. You see Brad Stevens applauding because he knows his team got a good look, executed it nicely, and it just didn't roll in. And then there's Dunham reaching in. Seems like he had an awful lot of the orange.
2 shots for Abel. Double bonus for each team. There's the foul situation. Jones and Smith are 2 studs up front. Done for the day. Boy, the best of free throw shooters step up in this kind of a situation, and the numbers mean absolutely nothing.
You can throw them out. Dynamic.
So many of the great players, any level, have wilted under this kind of late pressure at the line. Abel gets him 1, and it's a 2-point game. Brad Stevens, Butler
in this situation.
Indiana making this push back despite hitting 1 basket in the last 10 minutes and 3 seconds. They've gone 12 of 17 at the free throw line during that stretch. Dangerous sequence. Here comes Dunham. And a reach-in foul against Holes from the back. And Kellen Dunham, the highly touted freshman and a 97% free thrower, will shoot 2.
Didn't need it. You really don't want to. There he is reaching in behind. Make some contact with the arm and with his lower body. You really didn't need that there. Got them under duress. Struggling in a 2-point game. You want to make them score a field goal, not send somebody to the foul line. The one benefit is it does stop the clock. So, but in that case, you don't want to see teams get points and get some space by virtue of free throws.
Dunham misfires. It's a 1-possession game with 62 seconds remaining.
Yeah, you got to attack the paint. You got to be looking to drive the basketball. You don't need a 3 here. Drive the basketball or get it in the post.
Pose. Unable to hit. Offensive rebound. Abel. Shot clock resets, and Farrell coughed it up.
Good job by Abel here, and then you see Yogi trying to go before he had it completely. That happens. Next play. I think you play defense here. 1-possession game. Try not to foul. See if you can force a turnover.
Butler playing without Roosevelt Jones and Andrew Smith. Both have fouled out.
See if you can defend without fouling and get a stop.
Abel whistled.
And another case where you didn't need the foul.
So Dunham, the freshman, back to the free throw line. Abel whistled for his first. Dunham 1 of 2 at the stripe today. He entered this game at the free throw line, 31 of 32, 97%. Zeller and Wofford back in. Well, a year ago, Kellen Dunham was a high school star at Pendleton Heights High in Indiana. And right now at the national stage with a chance to knock off the Hoosiers. Butler with a 5-point lead.
Yeah, it has to be something quick. Inadvertent whistle, I assume.
Telling Tom Queen to back up into the coach's box.
You don't need a three-er, just drive something quick. Try to get something quick.
Farrell atoning for that miscue a moment ago.
Now I think you play a little defense, 5-6 seconds, see if you can force a turnover, then you got a foul.
Oladipo, the steal, spinning baseline. It's a 1-point game.
Beautifully done.
Shot clock turned off.
Have to foul at some point. There you go.
Barlow fouled. Barlow on the season, Clark, just 3 attempted free throws coming into today. He'll shoot 2.
Can't emphasize it enough. In this situation, you don't have to foul. Good job by Oladipo. He had a teammate over there helping him trap, and then catching the ball on the sideline was a mistake there for Dunham.
Barlow, the sophomore, Springboro, Ohio native. Walked on last season, a former baseball star, said he wanted to become a high school basketball coach. Came to Butler and Brad Stevens. Timeout. Butler down to 1.
And 1 free throw coming for Barlow. No matter what happens here, if he makes it, obviously if he makes it, it's a 3-point game. Indiana still has time enough to really attack the paint and not force up a 3. It is a 3-point game, so I don't think you have to look at the 3 right here. Again, it's about getting something quickly. Penetration, if you can kick out for an open 3, fine. But attack the rim. Oh, they're trying to get a 3, it looks like.
Farrell. Here comes Stigall down to 5 seconds. The senior fires. Tipped up. And we are headed to overtime here in Indy.
From a percentage standpoint, Yogi Ferrell is not the guy you would expect to make the shot or take it. But when you talk about winning, and that's been his DNA, no surprise that he knocked it down when it counted most. Clearly in the Hoosiers' favor.
Well, keep in mind the double bonus carries into the overtime. 5 minutes up on the clock. Indiana, the #1 team in the country, being pushed to the limit today by Butler.
Cody's got to look the score here.
Zeller.
Well, just didn't finish.
How huge has Oladipo been? Here's Holes finding the open spot. Butler led this game by 7 with 4 minutes left in regulation. But it's been all Indiana since. Clark going glass.
He's going to have to do it. And he's capable.
Well, he broke Marquette's heart in Maui. And Butler desperately needing Clark to get going.
Farrell did a nice job to keep that miss alive. Boy, he's a winner. Persistent, mature, tough-minded.
And Clark, how about coming back as Oladipo lost his footing, a traveling violation. He turned it over late. Terrible mistake, but boy, has Farrell responded.
As we take a look at Halls showing the ball and then going up and under, and then Rodney Clark gets a little screen from Fromm, able to go around Watford, and that's a tough shot. But any small player has to have that shot in his repertoire, the little running floater.
Oladipo looks spent at this point. 3:48 left in overtime.
He took a tough ball. He actually may have stretched or strained the groin. He hit a wet spot and slipped, but I don't think that young man is tired, especially with the additional time he got to take a break there as we reset things.
Alex Barlow, bad pass stolen by Sheehy. For Sheehy as Indiana trying to answer. .3:15 to play, 15 to shoot. Barlow.
Wow, what a I don't expect that from Alex Barlow, but big time drive there.
Both teams throwing punches back and forth here with 3 minutes to play.
Bragging rights for the state on the line. And don't think that's not important to all of these players, because it is.
Contact on Butler. 2 shots on every whistle from this point. And that is the 5th and final foul on the junior Eric Fromm. So he joins Jones and Smith on the bench. Jones fouled out at the 2:03 mark of the second half. Smith went out with 1:46 to play. And they now helplessly look on from that sideline. Well, that would make this upset even more improbable with those 2 guys on the bench.
Well, it's still not decided yet. This Butler Bulldogs team just does not give in. And that's a credit, obviously, to these kids, but also the coaching staff. The kind of tone they set, the expectations they have, the belief in one another. And Indiana, much the same. Clearly the top dog in the state, and at least currently the #1 team in the country. No debating any of that. And they too have shown outstanding resilience to this point.
Questions of whether the Hoosiers would be worthy of that #1 ranking as the year went on. And they are entrenched in a dogfight in their own backyard here in Indy. Rodney Clark, the Arkansas transfer. Barlow on the perimeter.
Nice switch that time between Sheehy and Halls, and a timeout.
Brad Stevens will take a timeout. 2:26 left in overtime in a 2-point game. That's how we got to the extra 5 minutes. Yogi Ferrell, the freshman local kid from Indy, rising above the defense, willing Indiana to the finish line. Ball had a chance. And now in overtime, a 2-point lead for the Hoosiers. Roosevelt Jones, Andrew Smith have fouled out. Stegall, the senior contact. Here comes Halls. Ferrell passes to Zeller. 4-point game.
Beautiful pass. Good attack early in the offense after a forced shot by Stegall. That gave Indiana a numbers advantage, and they took full advantage. Ferrell's been outstanding in the overtime in the last 3 or 4 minutes of regulation.
Barlow nearly coughed it up. Stegall on a three short. Follows his own miss. Clark. Got it!
Rodney Clark never hesitated.
Rodney Clark, one of the most lethal three-point shooters in college basketball, makes it a one-point game. Everyone standing here in Indy. Alex Barlow the steal as Indiana unable to find Zeller. Unbelievable.
That really was a careless look by Farrell. I think a straight post-up for Zeller is maybe how you want to operate.
Stegall and Butler back in front.
Got to be able to get it inside to Zeller against Marshall. Marshall's fighting him hard, but Indiana has to find a way. They've got too much of an advantage in there if he can catch it inside.
Six straight points, Clark and a senior Chase Stegall. As Butler showing the heart. 3 left in overtime, and Indiana shell-shocked at this point, down 2.
Back-to-back threes from the Bulldogs.
Hall's nearly coughed it up. Indiana 2 timeouts to play. Both teams in the double bonus. 15 to shoot. This is Yogi Ferrell.
Zeller took a spill.
Hall's the senior. Sidestepping Clark. It's loose inside, and Indiana retains with 23.2 remaining. Tom Crean will take one of his final 2 timeouts. Shot clock off.
Touch.
Keep in mind,
go ahead.
Roosevelt Jones and Andrew Smith have been on the bench, fouled out the entire overtime. Hall's guarded by Woods into Zeller. Inside contact, and we are tied. 18 for Zeller.
I mean,
19.3 left.
Sparrow is not complicated. I mean, he's a really outstanding big guy. There's nobody out there that can defend him. The last couple of possessions before that one, it seemed as though Indiana was looking for something else. Throw the ball to your best guy and let him make a play, a shot or a play for somebody else. And they did it that time, and he gets a layup.
Butler has 1 timeout left. They won't use it here. Both teams continue with the personnel chess match. Zeller replaced by Abel. Zeller has scored the final 6 points for the Hoosiers.
Indiana obviously has to defend without fouling, and Butler can try to take the last shot.
And the drama continues here in Indy. 19.3 to play as Butler takes its final timeout.
The trap, get a turnover. That's the same posture and approach here that you've got to try to take.
Butler at 7-2 defeats only to Xavier and Illinois, trying to pull it off against the #1 ranked team in the country.
Nice job by Brad Stevens to really spread out his players so Indiana had no chance to trap there.
7 seconds. Barlow spinning, shooting.
Are you unbelievable? Absolutely unbelievable. The most unlikely guy.
Barlow, the sophomore, former walk-on, has given Butler a 2-point lead.
The most unlikeliest guy, the least likely to make this kind of play and shot. Everywhere else it's basketball, but this is Indiana. My goodness. Now, would you have drawn up that play for Alex Barlow for a one-on-one penetrating drive?
No. But you just don't put anything past Brad Stevens, the 36-year-old.
You sure don't. And these Butler kids.
And look at the reaction on the Indiana sideline. Stunned. Alex Barlow, the sophomore, who had Division I baseball scholarships, as you see the reaction from Butler. And as we told you, chose to come to Butler only because of Brad Stevens. He wants to be a basketball coach and admired him so much.
Wow. Well, they added another 0.2 of a second to the clock because that's when the ball cleared the net. It initially was at 2.3. It's at 2.5. Plenty of time to get a full advance, a screen, a dribble or two, and a shot.
2.5, here comes Halls. He'll fire. And Butler has stunned Indiana. The Hoosiers knocked off their top-ranked perch.
Well, Halls is going to get it inbound, decides to take it himself, and that never really had a chance. What a game by the Bulldogs. What a game to watch and call. And you see it was wide left. Jubilation and dejection.
Well, if you didn't know the name Alex Barlow, you do now. For Clark Kellogg, this is Spiro Dine saying so long from Indy. Your final score, 88-86. Butler pulling the upset. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports' exclusive home of the 23rd.